Up, guys? My name is Daniel. Welcome back to the show. You are watching Edenize, Stewards of Eden. Before we get into today's content, I do want to mention that I do have a Patreon. You can support. You can search my name, Daniel McCormick, on Patreon. You can support for as little as $1 a month, or you can support for as much as $100 a month, and you can book one-on-one calls with me and talk with me. I want to meet you guys, and at some point, I do want to reduce the barrier of entry for that perk. Hopefully, as time goes on and more people support, the economies of scale will kick in, and hopefully at some point people that are supporting me for as little as $10 a month, I would love to meet all of you guys. But for now, I live a very busy life, and so I can only afford to do that for $100 a month. But like I said, you can still support me for as little as $1 a month, or you can go to thewordwoven.com or click the link in the description to buy an amazing hoodie. I sell and design my own hoodies to help support the show and hopefully support any future charities that I'm doing. And also, I just want my hoodies to be a billboard for the Word of God. So with that being said, they are 100% organic, which means the cotton that is used in the hoodie has never been sprayed with pesticides or insecticides. Also, it is 420 GSM, which means it is highly durable. It is heavy. It will last you a lifetime. It will probably be the best hoodie you have ever gotten. In fact, hoodies of this quality are typically going for $200 or more, and I am selling them for $50 because greed and infinite profit is not my goal here. My goal is to help promote this show, grow my charities, and be a billboard for God. So I want them to be accessible for everyone and affordable for everyone. So $50 is all it takes for you guys to get a super extremely cool hoodie. Click the link in the description. With that being said, today's topic is why live in a urban environment. Specifically, why should we live in well-designed urban environments? I oftentimes have conversations with strangers, and I tell them that I'm into urbanism, and they think that just means that I like New York. Do I like New York? I like things about New York. I don't like New York as a whole, but I do like a lot of things about New York. With that being said, though, urbanism is not just liking urban environments. It's the idea of loving the idea of well-designed, highly connective, highly social urban environments. So living in a dense urban neighborhood with a high walk score, a high bike score, and a high transit score, which if you do not know your current walk score, bike score, or transit score, you can go to walkscore.com and you can put in your physical address. You will be shocked at how unwalkable your neighborhood truly is. Or you might be shocked at how walkable it really is, and you've been relying on a car this whole time when you really didn't need to. All you had to do was go outside on your feet and explore a little bit, and you'd probably find alternatives to the places that you often go. Like, for instance, I live downtown Denver. There is a Costco in driving distance. It's about 20 minutes or so for me to drive there. However, I have 2 grocery stores within 2 blocks of me, and that is where I go to get my food. So with that being said, sometimes all it takes is going outside and finding new grocery stores, new favorite restaurants, not going to the old restaurant that you used to go that's an hour from your house, but finding diverse new food that's all around you, which is what I've done. And I have found 2 new pizza spots that I truly love to go to, a new Indian restaurant that I truly love. So yeah, with that being said, it's more fun. So with that being said, if you are curious about your walk score, go to walkscore.com. This website is not associated with me. I just love going on it and looking through all the stuff on there. So back to the main point. Living in a place with a high walk, bike, and transit score offers numerous advantages aligning with principles of sustainable urbanism, health, and community. Here's why. Reduce environmental impact. Dense urban living inherently reduces reliance on personal vehicles, which are major contributors to greenhouse gas emissions. Also, poor land use. If you go on Google Earth and you use their measurement tool and you look at just how much 1 mile of highway actually is, you would be shocked that some of these places are hundreds of acres. So with that being said, also you can also measure some of these junctions where these highways link up, And it's extremely poor land use. So, with that being said, other than greenhouse gases, it's also just really poor land use, and it divides and disconnects neighborhoods, oftentimes that were connected in the past, which then leads to economic struggles for these neighborhoods that grew up together, but then were separated by a highway, and now they have a missing half. So, that also can be a reason why living in an urban place and reducing your car use can be highly important. Studies consistently show that cities with the most robust public transportation systems and pedestrian infrastructure have lower carbon footprints per capita. They also have more economic output per capita. Reduced car dependence minimizes urban sprawl, preventing natural habitats and supporting rewilding efforts in surrounding areas. If you go on Google Maps and you go on satellite view, and you look at the sprawl of some of these places, I mean, the Houston metro area, the Atlanta metro area, the Jacksonville metro area, even where I live, the Denver metro area is sprawling. And it's carving up huge swaths of ecosystem that even just 10 years ago were decently healthy and intact. And now they are completely disjointed, disconnected, and some of them are utterly destroyed. And so living in a dense environment where you're building up and not out is a great way to reduce that sprawl. Next is it enhances your health and well-being. Walking and biking promote active lifestyles, contributing to physical and mental health, and this aligns with the move naturally principle. I personally found that once I moved downtown, I went from doing around 5 to 8,000 steps a day to doing around 15 to 25,000 steps a day. With that being said, I do have a job where I'm on my feet all day nowadays, but also when I'm not at work, I typically go on a walk. Because my neighborhood is peaceful and quiet enough to go for a walk. And it's also interesting and it's inviting. The streets are inviting you to continue to explore and walk down in some places. Also, because I live near my grocery store, I walk to the grocery store and I carry those bags all the way home. That is exercise, and it aligns with the principle of moving naturally. You'd be shocked at just how good it is, even for your arms, to just carry not necessarily heavy bags, but even as little as 10 pounds. If you carry those 10 pounds in each hand and you carry them for 4 blocks, that is a really low resistance and low impact way to get a really good workout. And also, it just builds resilience in your body. Um, and so it also reduces air pollution from all the vehicle traffic, um, and the reduction in vehicle traffic reduces the air pollution, which improves respiratory health. There is a new study that has come out in 2024 that found that your chances of having asthma living next to a highway go up by a drastic amount. I don't remember the exact figure, so I'm not going to quote a figure, but I do remember it being substantial. And what they were finding is that some of these people didn't have asthma, they just lived near a highway and were having respiratory issues, which is huge. Because if they didn't know that the literally just living by the highway is what's giving them respiratory issues, they could have lived there for their whole life and not known that all they had to do is just move a few blocks away from the highway and their respiratory issues would go away. Also, this does still happen to you even in your unit. The pollution and the air pollution from the highway enters into your unit. So if you think, oh, well, I have good window seals and I have good door seals, so it doesn't affect me, wrong. It does. They have taken samples from people's countertops and found tire rubber and brake dust on their countertop. So I'm not a scientist, so I don't know how it's finding a way in there, but it finds a way in there. So also, access to public transportation reduces stress associated with driving and traffic congestion, supporting the downshift principle, where we can manage our stress through prayer, meditation, but also just avoiding stressful situations that aren't necessary. Driving is extremely stressful. Riding a train, I know for some people they consider it stressful, but oftentimes the people that consider it stressful just haven't done it enough and they're not comfortable. Once you get used to riding a train, it is probably the least stressful thing that you can do. Also, let's be blunt, everyone is texting and driving. They just are. It's unfortunate to say, but they are. If you are a person that prefers to text and drive, just hop on the train and you can text that entire time. But you have to support transit in order to improve the frequency, reliability, and as also the network of your local transit. Um, Also, it reduces the headache of sitting in traffic. You can't have traffic on a train track, so or at least it is extraordinarily rare to have traffic on a train track. It is once in a blue moon that you might have a derailment, and then that might cause some congestion or a train might break down. But oftentimes that's just not the case. It's definitely not as often as here in Denver. Traffic congestion is a daily occurrence. So yeah, transit wins in that area. And it also builds stronger communities. Dense urban environments foster social interaction and community cohesion. Shared public spaces and easy access to local businesses create opportunities for connection and economy. Walkable neighborhoods encourage spontaneous encounters and strengthen social bonds. Now, with that being said, I do want to mention that there is a way to do this wrong. There has been a phenomenal dorm room study where these interior designers tried two separate layouts in two different dorms in a college, and by the end of the year, they were studying the social dynamics of these people in these dorms, and they found that the way that they designed the dorms actually affected the amount of social interaction that these people had with each other. So, I do want to mention that if you have lived in an urban environment and you still felt lonely or you still felt there's a lack of a social culture, um, it is possible that you just lived in somewhere that just did the design wrong. They might have been closer in concept than a suburb, but it is still possible that they did it wrong. And so, yeah, but when done right, it does build social cohesion. People know their neighbors, they trust their neighbors, or at least they responsibly trust their neighbors. I don't believe in fully trusting your neighbors. Like, don't let your kid go over there willy-nilly. That is unfortunately how kids can get taken advantage of. Obviously, protect your kids and protect yourself at all times, protect your family at all times, but trust them in a responsible way. So yeah, that is another benefit. The economic benefits: reduced transportation costs can free up financial resources. Dense urban areas often offer greater access to employment opportunities, cultural amenities, and diverse services that also enhance your ability to build a local business. If you build a local business in a dense urban neighborhood with a dense population, you are probably going to be able to service more customers as opposed to you trying to create a local business in a far-flung suburb or exurb. Um, Chances are that you're not going to get a whole lot of support. Um, so, also increased property values are often seen in walkable neighborhoods because people want to live this way. So many people I see in YouTube comments saying people don't want to live this way. Then why is Manhattan the most expensive place on the planet? The economic opportunity and convenience of public transportation in dense walkable neighborhoods is clearly what people want. The most walkable, dense place on the East Coast is New York, and it's also the most expensive. The most dense walkable public transit on the West Coast is San Francisco, and it's the most expensive. So 1 + 1 = 2, people. People want to live this way, and every single city should have options for people to live this way. So by prioritizing dense walkable urban environment, we can create cities that are not only environmentally, economically, and ecologically sustainable, but also promote health, well-being, social connectedness to their residents. Thank you for listening. Like I said, you can support me at Patreon at Daniel McCormick for as little as $1 a month, or you can buy a hoodie that is designed by me, and that will hopefully keep this channel going and support any future charities that I want to do in the next 6 months to a year. So yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.